Hello, everybody. Welcome to our RagHack live streams.
RagHack is a free global hackathon happening from September 3rd to 16th. RAG is a technique to get a large language model to answer questions based off your data. We have more than 25 live streams teaching you how to build RAG apps with different Microsoft technologies, plus 10 cash prizes for the best RAG apps in each category. So we're super excited to have you join us for this RagHack. And now a word from our friends at Reactor.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's session. My name is Danny, and I'm the event planner for the New York Reactor space. Before we start, I have a few things to go over. Please take a moment to read our code of conduct. We seek to provide a respectful environment for both our audience and presenters. We encourage engagement in the chat, but please be mindful of your commentary, remain professional, and on topic. Useful links will be shared in the chat. The session is recorded and will be available on demand 24 to 48 hours on the Microsoft Reactor YouTube channel. Which brings us to today's session. It'll run for approximately 1 hour with time for questions throughout. I will now turn it over to our speaker for introductions.
Hey, hello everyone. My name is Bruno, part of the Cloud Advocate team. Super happy to be here. Also happy to be with Jordan. Hey, Jordan.
Hey, Bruno. Happy to see you. Hey, everybody. I'm a PM on the .NET team. Excited to kick this off with you.
Yes. And hey, it's going to be a super busy week. I know that Pamela and Josh did an amazing overview of this. But for me, this slide is great. There's so much content here. I already booked a couple of sessions that I am not going to be able to watch, but I want to watch later. The one from the Graph RAG next week about internationalization. By the way, I can't even say that in Spanish. And more, there are so much content in these 2 weeks. It's all about RAG. And hey, today we are going to talk a little about .NET. I don't know, what are you feeling about this, Jordan?
Oh, sorry, what was that? I didn't quite hear on that last part. Sorry, Bruno.
Hey, what are your feelings about all of this content about RAG? All of this content about doing amazing things with AI?
Oh, yeah, I'm excited. The same one as you with that graph RAG. That's like another area I have not dived into too much myself yet. So that was one I was eyeballing on this list here. And then always the hack time is a really exciting part. So like with our goal today of, the .NET set of folks in here, what can you do with .NET help set you up to be able to jump in. And I'm really excited to see the end result from the hackathon. Like what comes out of this? What do folks come up with? Always neat to see the different ideas that come out.
Yes, and before we start, a final note here. I like to try to answer the question in real time. I'm taking a look there. If you see me there, this is the questions. We have a 20-second, 30-second delay between you post the questions until we read those. But hey, I really like to see that we have people like Mirko from Rome and Carl saying nice guitars. Thanks for both of us, I think. And then we have Sean, we have someone, can't remember, Jason from Boston. We also have Pamela and the team supporting us. Luis is also here supporting. Thanks for the declaration. Yes, it's nice if you can play guitar. If not, no problems. You can still do RAG and more. So Tom from Ukraine, I will really like if you have questions, suggestions, or more to basically ask them live, and we will try to help, because the whole idea today is to basically share our experience around how you can, our experience, knowledge, frameworks, tools, and more, how you can build the RAG application with .NET. Remember that the RAG hack is, sorry about that, I need to shut down Teams super quick. Remember that the whole idea of the RAG hack is that write your RAG hack solution in the language that you want. We have the RAG chat in 4 samples in Java, JavaScript, Python, and .NET, if you want to test and learn. But today our focus is .NET. And we usually start, if you've been in the kickoff before, and if you are following this, we usually start explaining how do we get here. And we are not going to do a full intro, what the large language models can do and can't do, and how you can basically expand the capability of a large language model. But if I need to explain, if I have to explain RAG in 30 seconds, I will say that the large language models are amazing working with language. They've been trained with a specific set of data. So you can probably assume that they know something maybe something, they know something. But if you want to add your own set of data or some specific knowledge that is not there, and to have all of the power of the large language models and natural language and more, that's the moment there are different options to do this, and RAG is one. And it's probably one of the most popular ones, because I don't know, I don't know you, Jordan, but when we started this session a couple of hours ago for the Spanish audience, I realized that RAG is new. I mean, we know and we talk about RAG a lot, but it's a year old or so. I mean, it's a super new technology. I don't know when you get there.
Yeah, definitely when we've been in the space for it a bit and, thinking over it, you take for granted how long it's not really been around as far as some of these techniques. And, folks are different places too, and being able to dive on into this or having time to play around. So, and always AI is a quickly evolving space too. So there's, always something new, better ways to do things.
Yes, and it's a super cool one, because let's go back a little and try to solve a scenario. That this is a user, in example, asking a question to a large language model. Don't care about the model, maybe a GPT-4o mini or a 5.3.5 model, and asking a question, but this is a specific question about, in example, us. You work in a company, your company gives you some benefits, and you want to ask your questions in a natural language to this model. The model, of course, is probably not going to know how to answer there. But if you have your model working kind of side by side with a document database, with the vector database, or with a memory database that can understand this, you can get the power here of this model understanding that you as an employee have some benefits. The benefits in this scenario are in a PDF that was converted to text. So now the model can get also the info from that PDF and give you an answer like, yes, your company perks cover underwater activities such as scuba diving lessons. And because we connect everything, probably also give you the link to the source. So you can say, hey, in this part of my company documents, information about my, the benefits that I have, this is where it's described that you can go scuba diving and have some activities coverage for whatever here, which is super, super cool, because the models are amazing. We know that there are more models, there are different ways to use the model, but when we add custom information, this is when RAG literally explodes. And hey, we can do that on NET, and this is a fun one. I remember last year when we started to do this, it was a super manual process. It literally connecting the dots, everything. When we started to do things, it was super, super hard. But today, we can have these kind of things like, hey, we have the models who have some information. We can now give them access to our own information in an easy way. I don't know, Jordan, anything to add there?
No, I mean, I think you've got it great as far as covering. I know you're about to dive in a little bit about the state of things with .NET itself and how you can do these exact things. So I think that'll be kind of great. We've had a lot of changes in the .NET space over the last year. There's an increase in the number of ways you can work with different vector stores to do these sorts of patterns. We're going to highlight Azure AI search today, I know, but yeah, I think diving on in now toward the .NET elements, the next piece, it sounds like probably the way to go.
Yes, and hey, I see new people here from Florida, India, London. We have a couple of questions around the competition. Then we have Okmar also from India. So welcome everybody. And before moving forward, before starting to show, because I am a code person, I like to show live demos. Just to give kind of overview of what we are going to show today, and also the main components that we have when we talk about RAG. First of all, we have the retriever. That's the year on RAG. Basically, that's the knowledge database, or is the knowledge repository or base that basically can get information when the user have a query. For this example, we have Azure AI Search, but you can run this. I am going to show one using the memory database. And we have also some samples in Quadrant. I know that we are going to do something, can't remember the date, with PyCon also. And there are, I don't know, what are the most popular one? For me, in my head, I know Quadrant, PyCon, but I know there are so many players there, including Azure AI Search. Another one that you have in mind, Jordan, that I'm missing?
No, those big ones. Milvus had some functionality as well. There's some in-memory stuff you can do when you're playing early on as well. Like we're going to talk about semantic kernel, but there's some support of just an in-memory store when you're playing around with exploring the space as well. That I might add in the list. But no, I think we covered all the big ones here.
Yes, and we have, I missed the comment. Where is the comment? There it is. And we have Milboost. Yes, Milboost. We have an amazing session 2 weeks ago about Milboost. I really like it. It was new for me. Thanks for the reminder. That was a big one, and I really, really love it. And as I said, there are still, this is news that's not so new. So there are new players, new partners, a lot of things that we can do. The next component here that we want to talk, of course, is the large language model. That all started with GPT a long time ago. Probably the most popular still around are the GPT models. I'm starting to advise people to switch to GPT-4o Mini. I used to advise everyone to use GPT 3.5 Turbo. Now I suggest Mini because it's fast, it's not so expensive, it's support in a lot of regions also now in Azure. We are releasing the model in different regions all around. But what I really also like about this is that we can also use small language models. And this is the moment that we start to talk about doing RAG in a local environment, in example, using Llama 3.1 or my personal favorite, 5 models. I say 5. I know it's not, I don't know if it's the right way to pronounce it. Right? 5.3, 3.5. There are great models that we have, but hey, you can use your own model to do RAG. Of course, in Azure AI, in example, we support, can't remember the number, probably Pamela and someone in the chat knows how many models, because there are all of the meta models with Llama and more, Mistral, we have all Hugging Face models, there are the NVIDIA models, Microsoft, the GPT for OpenAI, and more. So, hey, I don't know. Do you have a preferred model, Jordan?
Oh, it's like asking to pick a favorite child. I can't do it.
Yeah, that's a tricky one.
The space, the eye opener for me, having come in this space actually more like 7 or 8 months ago, was that element of there's no one model based on your scenario. Different models do things better than others, or might be tailored more. So basically, just that whole space of like, I like exploring what's out there as I go into a new area. So I can't easily say I've got a favorite that I'd call out.
And hey, then we have, and this is the part that we're starting to focus more on .NET, we have the Glue, which is basically a tool / framework or SDK that we use, in example, to connect the large language model or a small language model with the vector database, with the retriever. I've been used a lot of semantic kernel. Big fan of semantic kernel. If you follow me or know me, you probably know that I write a lot about semantic kernel because allows us to switch models in a very simple way, to switch retrievers also in a very simple way. So I like it. But we also, I know that there is LangChain, there's Llama Index. I know that Luis, he's in the chat. He's been working a lot with Llama Index. We are going to release something now, but this is kind of the important part in .NET, how we are going to do this. We even have contributions, and we have Jamie from the UK. He basically updated a post from a couple of months ago. If you want to do everything local, with local models like Phi and doing local embeddings and more, we are slowly adding new features, and we are lucky to have a community behind that is also updating the demos, the models, and more. So, hey, semantic kernel is my preferred one, but again, not going to ask the question, Jordan. We're going to see what you like more. But these are the 3 that I know I have in my head. There are probably other ones there too.
Oh, yeah, always more options popping up, right? SK semantic kernel from the .NET world is definitely the starting point for me because it's built first for .NET, and so it provides core abstractions and common types that you can use for a lot of the AI scenarios we'll cover today. That it feels like an API built for .NET developers, so that one is definitely where I spend a lot of my time working with it, just like you.
Yes. And at the end, what we also want to share with you, and I'm going to stop doing slides, I want to show some code and repos and more. It's, hey, when you build a solution here and you start to use all of these parts, this is an amazing place to start to get about, in example, if you go for the RAG Chat Net solution, you can start to see how the application support the history. You can upload your documents. You're going to have an embeddings process, which is a Azure function, by the way, working in the back to process document that you upload to store. There are so many things that you can do there. And as I said, let me show you some code here, because there are a couple of things that we can do. So first of all, I will say sorry for the crappy demos. You know me. Then we have Jordan and Luis. They have much more robust and solution demos. But I like to show this one. This is basically a two-step demo, a console application that first asks a local model that I have here in Onyx, the 5.3 model, about what is Bruno's favorite superhero. That's it. Because we are working with the model and the model doesn't have any context, the usual response here is going to be, I don't know, literally. And we have a system message here at the top. We are going to say, hey, you are a helpful assistant. You answer with right and precise answers. If you don't know anything, just say, I don't know. So first of all, this scenario is going to load a model locally from Onyx. I have 5.3 local model. This is a small model that we talk. And then I am going to ask the question. So there is some cosmetic code here because we use a console application. But here we ask the question to the model. This is all based on semantic kernel. And then we stream in the response, as I said. And the response is, hey, I don't know. Bruno is a generic person. I have not been trained on that name. I don't know who is the preferred superhero. But what we do next, and this is where we're starting to get interesting, is we create a vector database, an in-memory vector database using semantic kernel, and we start to feed that database with information. Like in example, Gisela, one friend that I have from Spain. This is the one that we created this at the beginning. She likes Batman. Bruno, somewhere here, there it is. I like Invincible. I like Invincible. Then the last movie that I went to the cinema to watch was Deadpool and Wolverine. And we have more. And once we have this in-memory database, we ask the same question to the model, but we connect, using semantic kernel, we connect the memory database and the 5.3 model. And when we run this, as expected, the first response is going to be, I don't know. Remember, we are asking what is Bruno's favorite superhero, and of course the model say, I don't know. But if I ask the question using semantic memory, I will have this. And hey, it's kind of interesting. I mean, I get the power, and by the way, this is 50 lines of code, and this is a very simple one, and you can grow from here, all running locally, this one. But I really like this scenario because it's the same question to the same model, but in the second time we said to the model, hey, you know what? If you don't know, if you don't know, go and check that database, and if you find something, reply to the answer, to the user, which is kind of nice because this is the idea of RAG, is to basically bring your own information and to get the benefits. One of the focus of RAG is to bring your own information and get the benefits of a large language model or a small language model here, 5.3, to work with this. So I really, really like to start showing this because it's kind of show, okay, this is the ABC of how we can do RAG. But it gets interesting because when we start to talk about, and we are not going to do a lot of going deep into embeddings more, I know that sessions will go there, but when we start to get the benefits of the large language models and embeddings and more, we know that these models are very good, in example, working with different languages. And you probably didn't notice the accent, but I am not Canadian. I was born and raised in Argentina, live in Spain, and then moved here, so I speak Spanish. So if I change the first questions, what is Bruno's favorite superhero, to ¿cuál es el superhéroe favorito de Bruno?, which is literally the same question, but in Spanish, let's see what the model does. By the way, this was working 5 minutes ago. But I like to have a disclaimer when I work with large language models, live demos, because...
Live demo stress.
Yes. So the first answer, and I'm going to wait here, is I don't have information, personal information sobre specific people, so I'm going to have I don't know. This is the I don't know version in English. But this is important. This is a local 5.3, I think this is a 5.3 or 5.3.1, I can't remember, 3.5 model that also works great in different languages. And if I ask the same question, again, didn't change the model, just change the answer, I am going to have probably don't need to know Spanish, but you get the sense that this is the right answer, also in Spanish. So I get the best using RAG of the model, multi-language information, and more. And hey, I have the plus here to can do this in Spanish. When I do this with my friend Alexia, she's from French, we can even ask the question in French. And we have this also running in French. And by the way, I'm not going to read in French. I already did so much today online, but Je suis désolé, not my good friend today, but the second question should say Bruno, preferred superhero, is invincible. So, hey, I don't know, Jordan, what do you think? I saw a lot of questions here that I need to check.
Oh, there were a lot of questions around a link to the source code. So we mentioned that links to source will be provided after the session. This would be a good one. Make sure we've got this little demo in there as well as the other ones I know that we're going to cover.
Yes, and hey, important, because I forgot about this a lot. So here, let me move this one here and take this one here. The main link for all of this is AKA, RAG, and here you have all of the info about the hackathon, the sessions, and by the way, tons of sessions. I love this. This is amazing. Tons of sessions. And in the discussion stuff, I know that we have one for this one. So where is RAG and NET? So somewhere here, this is in Portuguese. So I think this one is us. So this is the one that I will check the link later. But for every session that we are hosting during these 2 weeks, you are also going to have access to a discussion where you're going to have access to the recording, this one, and also the slides. And if you have a question and you are not here right now, please go to the discussion. We are going to keep an eye there to try to answer your questions. And hey, like the question somewhere here ask about what is the preferred model or something like this. Hey, we can help. We are going to try to help here in the discussion. We are also going to host office hours. I know that we have one at the end of the week. I'm going to be there. I think there is another one next week also. So please check the agenda because we also are here to try to help. But the main repo is probably the entry place for all of the things. And sorry if I forget to show and talk about this earlier. This is a great place to start. So I don't know, do we have any question here, Jordan? Did you see something that we probably want to ask in? Okay, so yes, this code is available on GitHub. Yes, it's going to be here in the resources and more. And you have here raghack/.net for the live stream. Then the whole code. This is the same question. Source of the, okay, so 5 or sorry, I went randomly clicking comments and they are all the same. So, hey, I like this one. Suggestion for an embeddable vector DB for .NET. Oh, this is the same question that you just answered, Jordan. Yes? What do you want more, mom or dad, or choose a son or something like this? Or
well, and this one I think Luis answered too. So there could be a couple ways you could take this. I think as far as embeddable, so that might be one. If you wanted to clarify if you're thinking embeddable, I'm thinking of more embedded in local devices. Are you talking about like services to work with? So as we've talked about, Pinecone, Quadrant, Milvus, Azure AI Search, they're all different vector search kind of solutions you could use. But to Luis's point too, I might also take embeddable solutions being something that you could install locally. And that might be, I think, kind of like Luis could confirm as well, but that might be one take here, that some of these you could also run fully locally as a vector store versus another service.
Yes, and hey, this is a good one because this is something that the people are really looking forward to today, which is call local functions in local mode when using semantic kernel. So, long story short, as far as I remember, and I need to test this again, if you use locally Llama 3.1 with Olama, the functions are going to work. I have to test this with the latest 5.3.5. I need to switch a couple of things here and there to make the test. I know that with Llama 3.1 is working. My guess is that the latest 5 model 3.5 should work on also, and there are probably going to be other models that are going to support this. Right now, the only one that I know that works locally with semantic kernel in C# with .NET is Llama 3.1. But as I said, I need to probably test this. I'm going to have this as a question to share in the discussion in GitHub. I don't know. Have you tested this, Jordan? Local functions with semantic kernel?
I've not played with that one as much so far. I know as context for other folks here, I missed if you'd mentioned this already, Bruno, but there's one angle of, yes, you can, with SK, you can call native .NET methods as part of your AI calls if the underlying model supports that, which is what you're talking about here. Like OpenAI definitely has a way to support it. And then we get into like Llama 3.1, did you say? The support, has support, but other models may or may not. So that, like you said, that's one of those to look into to keep up on, even state of the art, like where's that supported. But I don't have anything further on the models to add than what you said.
Yes, and hey, by the way, someone asked the question about package and more. This sample that I just showed is basically use these two main libraries, which is Microsoft Semantic Kernel, and then I have the plugins memory. And to do local embeddings, which is the third part, which is store information, I have this smart component local embeddings, which is still in preview, but there are different ways that you can do this. By the way, Spectre Console is just, Luis hooked me to that library to make beautiful console applications. But these are kind of the main sample, the main stuff that you have here. I know that Luis has another sample where using Olama, and we are going to try to run that one. You can basically have a model to do the large language model and another model to do the embeddings, which is automatically done here. These are the packages that we have here. And there is a question here also, if we are going to show some examples, show how interact with the LLM in a question answer mode. Yes. So I will advise everyone. So there are two basic links that we have here. So first of all, come on, Zoom. So first of all, you have NKA slot.ms RAG chat. This is the entry point to the main repo where you are going to see a RAG chat solution in Python. And then you have also links there to the .NET version, Java version, and JavaScript. But if you go to ragchat.net, you have access to this repo, which is a reference repo. We are working on this. We are cleaning this and working hard on the issues, pull requests, and more. This is a full solution that's basically, let me go here to the architecture, there it is, that basically connects Azure AI Search to the index information. The information came from document stored in a blob storage, and we have a function that is creating embeddings with Azure AI Search, and then we have a GPT-4o mini now model managing all of the language part. And if you want to see how this feels in real time, let me see, I have it open somewhere here. So this is the whole solution. Oh, sorry. This is the whole solution. As you can see, it's a Blazor solution where you have a voice chat here, where you can basically allows your microphones to connect to the browser and start to talk here. You have the standard chat with questions. And in the backend, we have a set of documents who has been already processed, indexed, and they are part of Azure AI Search. So we can ask questions like, an example, I don't know, what's included in my Nordwith Health Plus plan? And if I have everything up and running, there it is. We see that, hey, your plan includes medical, vision, dental, and more. We have citations where we can see the source of the information. You can see how we get there, supporting content, and more. By the way, we are working here in a couple of upgrades to this solution here, based on basically what the community is asking. So right now we have, in example, somewhere here in deployment. Let me go here and getting started. So somewhere here, I don't know if we have live stream. Okay, so there is a document here, it's probably still in PR mode, where we show how you can run this demo, because you need for this demo an Azure subscription and use Azure AI, Search, and more, but you can use this using free resources, almost free resources. You have Azure, I think it's Azure AI Search in the free tier, Document Intelligence in the free tier. You can use this running with OpenAI APIs instead of Azure OpenAI, so you can use a free budget there and more. So there are a couple of things that you can do, and it's super, super easy to start. Just There are different ways that you can do this. You can run this in a code space. You can run this in a container. Or if you install everything local, which is the Azure Developer CLI, .NET A, JIT, and Docker and PowerShell, then you do an ACD app. And 10 minutes later, because it took some time to create everything and process the document, you have your demo up and running. But it's a great source of, I don't know, it's a great sample source. If you want to do Q&A with document, track, and more, this is a great place to do this. I leave the question here. Sorry, let me hide the question. And I know that we are working with Jordan also to see what else we can do here. If you have questions, if you have requests on more, please let us know, open an issue, go for discussion and more, because we really, really want to help the .NET community with this sample so you can do more here using this. Wow, my God, I see that I like to read comments, but because we have Luis, Pamela, and more helping with the comments, I'm getting lost on what we have here. If we have one good, please let me know, Luis, Pamela, and more. I like it. And hey, thank you. Perfect. We are here to help. I don't know. Did I miss something, Jordan, or something that you want to add?
Oh, I think if you pop over, and you had a quick summary slide on that slide deck that has a link for folks to get to this demo as well. So this is a good moment to just bring that up on screen. Again, we'll share the demos afterward, but this is a real nice summary version of this demo application that you were just talking about. So there's the link to it there. Yes.
Hey, thanks for reminding me. I completely forgot that we have this. And yes, in example, in the last couple of weeks, we upgrade everything to deploy GPT-4o Mini. As I said, preferred one. A couple of teaser or spoiler or whatever, because we have GPT-4o Mini, we are going to have Vision soon, anytime soon. I'm hoping to finish that one. We can do the PR and merge it and test everything there anytime soon, because it's very, very good. And hey, it's not in, we haven't talked about this. I haven't even started to think how we are going to do this, but this is probably going to be a nice one to see if you want to work using a small language model, maybe hosting Docker, like 5.3.5, to see what we can do. But we get to the point that we depends on functions, calls, and more there. So yes, if you want to know more, aka.ms/ragchatnet, the entry point for this repo.
Perfect. Yeah, and I like that app too as an example of, some of the full end-to-end we've got, as well as some data ingestion, handling custom data, like we've got the HR benefits data in here. So it's a really nice all-inclusive example, kind of a full end-to-end.
Yes. And by the way, the way that it works right now is when you upload, so sorry about this, when you upload the document to one of the blob storage, we have an Azure function with a trigger for new documents in that blob storage, and the Azure function is the one that pick up the document, create the chunks, and start to send the chunks to the Azure AI search so they can be indexed and be there. And the function also supports remove, add, and a couple of other things I can't remember there. There are few pieces here, but it's super nice to see how you can put a solution like this all together. And by the way, if someone wants to change the front end or change the back end and use Milbus or another vector database, super happy to help. We can create a fork somewhere here, start to collaborate there, because this is a great place to start to have a .NET sample of how to do that.
Yeah, and somebody did call out in the comments, there's also a branch that demonstrates working with Redis for the vector support, so an alternate version.
Cool.
And we've also got a .NET MAUI demo. I think it's in a separate branch as well. So we should put some pointers to that in the follow-up as well, just for another pattern of working with the chat kind of as an embedded hybrid application with a .NET MAUI mobile app. So that's also shown in the repo. So it shows a few different kind of patterns, as well as some best practices for working with Azure and Azure OpenAI.
Yes, and by the way, we didn't have this I didn't mention, it's not in the slide, but we use semantic kernel in this one. The glue that we talked to put it all together, models and more is semantic kernel in the back, the latest version. This is not NET 8, but probably in a couple of months, when we release NET 9, we're going to also upgrade this to the latest and greatest. So, hey, this was great. You see a lot of thanks for the feedback, Carl, and more about this. And hey, I have a slide where we explain how we do everything. And by the way, the app that we have right now is deployed as a Docker image, because in .NET it's super easy to deploy web projects as image. You just do publish Docker, I can't remember, and that's it. But someone asked if we can deploy this also as an app service. So added into the to-do list is there. Not sure if it's going to be available anytime soon, but yes, the idea is probably deploy to container app, which is super easy right now for us. But if someone wants the app service, we can spend some time there. By the way, this path is also is super easy to us to move this to Aspire, to be supported by Aspire container apps as part of the solution. So, hey, we have a cool question. I got this in real time. Is there any metadata storing related to document explorer in order to retrieve info like page number or chapter title for an ebook? Yes, when you do the memory add, in example, I will explain this like I like to be explained this. When you add this into the memory, you can add the info, the index, the string that you want to store, and then you have metadata. And this is the moment that you can add, in example, the document, the page of the documents, and more. So later, if you want to do the citation and go directly there, you have access to do that. I tested that in Azure AI search. When we are doing some Redis live demos, I see how we can do in Redis, and it works great. But the other day, can't remember, I think it was in PyCon on Quadrant, I see that other providers support more information. So it's not just a big metadata, you can have some more specific one. So I will say start with your info plus some kind of pointer to page or paragraph or whatever, but maybe other providers give you more info. I will rely on our experts here to see if they can show more about, if they know more about that. I don't know, do you know in other providers, Jordan, if we can be more specific about the info that we are storing this document in this page, in this, I don't know, paragraph, word 24 or something like this?
Yeah, I don't know more on that one. No, good question.
I will keep the question, and if we have time, I will probably open Azure AI Search so you can see the metadata with the location. And let's use, I show this, let's use some real use cases. We still have 20 more minutes. So this is the moment where we are in a hackathon and we start to talk about technology, and you're going to see a lot of RAG, but we started to we want to see, okay, how we make this real? Okay, where we can use this? What are the real scenarios where we can have a large language model doing chat, because everybody's doing chat, but which are the real scenarios where we can use this? And we have this amazing eShop support demo, again, open source. I'm going to share the links anytime after this, where we have basically, I think this is AdventureWorks, not Contoso. We have an AdventureWorks website where you buy stuff, and if you have a problem or you have a question about the products, you can go there and create a support ticket, what we see here. And a support ticket is going to have, as expected, a customer name, you're going to have a question, you are going to do more. And we started to see, okay, what we can do here. Okay, so we have a list of tickets, we have the status of the tickets, we started to have a couple of things about how we can work here. So for the first things that we add to this solution, with these two different front ends, one for users to create tickets and the other for the staff support team to browse these tickets, is, hey, you can search tickets here, but you can search using semantic search. We've just seen that it's an amazing one. You can say, hey, show me all of the bad tickets, or show me everything audio-related tickets, or something like this. We add a feature that when someone creates a ticket, depending on what the user writes or whatever, we use a large language model to do summarization. So you are going to have here not the text of the final user, but probably a single sentence with the ticket basically summary here, there. We also have automatically, based on the text, what type of ticket is there. You don't need, as a user, to complete. This is my title. This is my description. This is the product. This is what I want to do. This is, hey, if you just write about this, the models are good enough to do this. And then, of course, using a model again, we can say, okay, this is the sentiment of the ticket is a good one, a bad one, or more. And what do we have here? How we can do this? Also, what we are going to use semantic search, we are going to use classification, we have RAG, and we have more. So let's give this, and we have an assistant there. Hey, I want to show it. I'm going fast because I want to show it. So let's show this demo. And by the way, I prefer to show this one up and running. This is the eShop support. I will rely on one of our colleagues to find the link. I know it's in the slides. And this demo has a lot of moving pieces. So we have Aspire. Let me show it is the work here. We have Aspire managing a lot of moving pieces. First things that I like. Remember that we talked that we are going to talk about models and local models and more. So here, Aspire deploy a container that have Olama. And as far as I remember, I think I changed it. I need to double check. We are using a Mistral model to work this. So this solution is going to do RAG. It's going to do text classification, summarization, and more with a local model. This is a great example of how you can do this. Then we have Redis. We have a vector DB also here, which is Quadrant. We talk about this to do the RAG part. What do we have in the vector? We have the model. We have the products information. And by the way, I think in English the word is stalling. I'm kind of stalling here because this is starting in the back and it's downloading the model, it's indexing the products, so it's doing everything. So I am just talking to give you a sense of, hey, this is, if I start to use it right now, it's not going to work. Now after a second, it's going to work. So let's start with a user, kind of a user creating a ticket. And this is Alice. And Alice can log in here. And yes, I was playing around with this. And when she's here, she can start a new support request. So first question, is this about a specific product? Yes. And which product? So first RAG scenario that we have here. This is a combo box. This is a list. And usually when we have list, we fill list with a keyword search. So if you want to go for Bluetooth, you see Bluetooth, and you have something like this because the product title match with the text that you are typing. But we are doing semantic search here. We are doing a RAG versus the database here. So instead of getting Bluetooth, if I don't know the name of my product or whatever, but I know it's an audio product, here the list is going to be complete with the context information about it. Remember when I asked the question, Bruno's favorite superhero, and it was Invincible? So here is, hey, give me the products that they are related on audio or whatever. I can't remember the query that we are doing, but this is a nice one because as a user, the user experience is focused right now is, I don't know the name of my product. Probably I know the name, but I want to do something. Oh my God. I want to do something here, and I want to basically filter by audio. If I do travel, I have here a camera, or lens. I have a power charger. I like this one, a GPS navigator. So it's not categories. It's basically connecting the info about what you have. So I will select a product here, like the GPS, and then try to add some information. So I don't know. Let's ask a question about how do I charge the product? Do I need to replace the batteries? I'm making this up. Which are the right ones? So I'm asking a question about the GPS. I will assume that there is some battery there. And then I have some question. I don't know. Anything to add here, Jordan, to the question?
Nope, I think that's a good question to me.
Okay, so let's submit this. I will have it here today, the 3rd of September, the 5:03. So this is the moment that I will log out here and I will log into the staff request. So I have a question here. Okay, they're going to answer the question later. So let's go to the staff web application. And remember, this is the staff from Adventure Work that are going to take a look at the tickets, and they are going to start to work on that. And hey, let's talk a little about the first one. This is the one that I just created, 503. And remember that we have a model right now working and yada, yada, yada. So yes, the first ticket that the ticket that I created is talk about charging or a battery replacement. So this summary was created, but the model, let me double check the model. I can't remember which one, not this one, this one. I think it was Mistral, the one that we have here.
It was like Mistral 7B that was used in here, yeah.
Yes, it's Mistral V03. This is the one that we are using right now.
Oh, okay.
By the way, little break here and pause. In Docker, when we run this, we have all of these containers running. So we have Progress here, the Ollama one, Azure Stores, we have Redis, we have Quadrant. If I go to Ollama and open my terminal and I do Ollama list, I will see that I have Mistral and 5.3. Mistral is the one that we're using right now, but I was testing this also with 5.3 and tweaking here and there the prompts. So this is kind of a nice example of how this demo is running a full ticket support, customer support, search, whatever website using a local model. And what I also like about this is that if you want to see everything that is here, and I know that we are talking about RAG, but the app host from Aspire is the one that creates Postgres password, the backend with Postgres server, the vector DB of Quadrant, the identity server, Ollama, and more. You can follow everything here. All of the pieces that are part of the full solution are described here. So going back to our ticket support system, there it is. If I open the first one, this is the one that we just created. We have a question. This is a question. It's not a comment or idea or a complaint. This is a question. And the summary says the customer asking for guidance on how to charge the product, inquiring about battery replacement and the correct battery type, which is kind of great. This is a simple local model, small language model using to create this, and it works great. And I can do a couple of things like say, hey, what does the manual say about this? So at this moment, I hope I pick up a model with a manual because there are a couple of models that doesn't have any documents in the back. So at this moment, what is happening is I am going to the vector database to search the information about the Adventure 2000 GPS Navigator Explore Mate and start to get info from this. So we're going to see the Adventure 2000 Navigator can be charged using the USB cable. Somewhere here, once the assistant, if I have this in a document, somewhere here I will have also the chance to go directly to the link of the document. It takes some time. Remember, everything is working locally. The vector database, the Redis database, also the model is locally, but everything is happening here. I didn't get a link to the document. In some products, I have a link to the document, so that's a full RAG solution. But I have this, which I really, really like because I said, hey, this is the manual information. I can ask also the model to suggest a response for the user question. And this one is going to pick up the original question, is going to pick up the info that we have on the product, and is going to suggest a response. And I can't remember how is the flow here, but I can even paste the response directly here in the ticket. But I like this as a sample of using a lot of AI in different ways. We do RAG, we do summarization, we do text sentiment classification, more in a solution which is basically a support ticket, whatever. Yes, sorry. Did you have a question? Or oh no, that's what my I heard a noise here and I think it was my speaker. So if I go here and copy this, I'm sorry that I pick up a product that doesn't have any response, I can close the ticket now and say, there it is, the ticket is closed, but we have everything that we need here. And by the way, one of the questions here, I always forget, I think this is Hans. This is a nice question because it's a German question. Hallo, Inschrijfbelt with Bluetooth loudspeaker. It's a German question, which are probably not going to be able to understand, but the summary is good enough to say, hey, the customer is unable to complete the Bluetooth pairing here, how we can help. Once again, in this case, Mistral model is good enough to work with German and English. Oh my God, so a lot of questions here. So I will strongly suggest everyone to take a look at the eShop support repository. Let me see if I have it. Open it here. Not here. Open eShop support. And we are going to add this to the. We are going to add this to the resources in the discussion. This is the repo. I will leave it here for a couple of seconds, but I will also see what the people think is, if it makes sense or not, because I like this example because it's run everything locally. So if you want to learn about local scenarios, and I saw that Pamela was talking about run somewhere here, so I'm guessing that there are some questions about performance, hardware requirements, and more. This is a great one to know. You can run this in a not so powerful machine, but in example, everything that AI related with Olama and Mistral or 5.3 is going to take some time, but still is going to run. So
Yeah.
Yes, sorry, please. Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to add to that. There was one question there at the end about hardware requirements to run this. So like you said, Bruno, there's the happy path, if you will be a machine. I don't have the exact specs on like amount of memory, but you want generally a pretty good local setup, at least 16 gigs of RAM, probably 32 is really good just for the scenarios that are running local. The GPU is a big one.
Yes.
I do have in this repo in the README links to an issue for now where I've documented the workaround to run on a CPU. And so there's some stuff you have to do. It'll go more slowly, but it can be done on specific machine.
Yes, CPU. I love this. Thanks for bringing this up. This is important. If you want to run this CPU mode, which is what I am running right now, because every Monday I break my CUDA drivers and more. So I am running on CPU right now. But if you want to run this, Jordan writes an amazing step-by-step how to create Olama without GPU, to change the package, the Python package, because yes, Pamela, we are using Python inference here. We have a small piece here, we do Python here, but to change the torch for the right versions here, the not CUDA version, and there are a couple of other changes I can remember that we need to do in order to do this. But hey, I believe if someone asked me to show a real scenario doing RAG, AI, and more today, 9 of 10 times in the last couple of weeks, I'm going to point everyone to this solution, to this repo, to the eShop support, because it's a really, really good one. Oh, yes, let's keep Pamela happy here. We have .NET, and if you have a good eye here, you are probably going to see a not C# project. I'm going to stop there. But hey, this is also a nice example to showcase how we can get the best of every language, framework, platform, tool, and more. And to do the inference here, the best way to do this, the fastest one, was with Python for us. And it's a nice sample of how you can put all of the pieces together, and also how Aspire can manage this. Also. Yeah,
that was definitely one goal of this was, there are cases where you're working with a team that may have actually built out a backend with Python that you want to integrate with, or using a model that they chose to go through Python. So that was one of those, like you say, as an example here of how might you go about doing that with .NET Aspire. So covering all the bases.
Perfect. And yes, and we are getting to the end of the hour. We have, we have 2 more slides. So basically, all of the animations, the demo. So next steps, of course, go for aka.ms, RAG hack, register to the hackathon, join the other sessions, join the office hours if you have a question. I'm open to any question in Twitter or LinkedIn. So happy to if you have an idea, if you want to validate your idea, or happy to try to help there. Also, if you have a question, please share the question, a specific question in the solution. We're going to upload the slides and also the recording once it's there. And I don't know if we have a last minute questions or more here. I know that we only have 5 more minutes.
There was one question I was just about to respond to, but the question was if there's any framework, I'll assume with for .NET for doing testing or evaluation of LLM responses. And I'll just say that real quick, in the demo app itself that we just showed with eShop support, there's an example of some ways of doing evaluation. It's an area we're experimenting on how might we go about doing different things with testing, but it's got an example that you can look at in there for some ways of doing this, as well as this sample demonstrates generating Q&A data, which would be an important piece. I know, Bruno, you also had, and I can't remember if we published this yet, so we can follow up in the discussion and carry this further into the GitHub discussion, but you've worked out an interesting demo application for evaluation that
yes,
we can share out later on as well, that they all kind of tie together the same ideas of using AI to help evaluate your applications. So it's an area you'll see us write more and more about from the .NET team, but there's stuff we can follow up in the discussion thread on that.
I will share the links, or I see probably Luis is sharing. Oh, no, there. But I will share the link in the discussion. But yes, I think it was for Build that we were working on a full solution that helps evaluate a model in metrics like groundedness or more like this. So it was a nice one. And yes, we are working on that and also working on how you can generate the set of data using models to also later evaluate models. And this is a nice questions, or this also become relevant in these days because we're starting to have this. We have GPT-4, GPT-3.5, Mistral, 5.3, and more. So have kind of a evaluation framework really, really help to see this model, this prompt, this scenario in this specific business domain, how it's working. And hey, I like it. I will share the link later there. I don't have it here handy.
Yeah, perfect.
And hey, Pamela also told that in a couple of days, next week, we are going to have a session around evaluation. Happy to chat later if you want Pamela to show the .NET, at least the links and the session that we didn't build if someone was interested doing that in the .NET, from the .NET world. I like it.
Yeah,
so many things.
A session around that kind of stuff for a future sort of event around evaluation and keep driving it forward. It's an area that we're actively exploring, so that'd be a really good topic to go over sometime.
Oh yes, we can do in the AI and Net show. We can probably add in the evaluation to the list. Then we have Energy asking or optimize for CPU. Yes, links or go for issues. Add instruction for, there are only 4 issues, so it's easy here. And this one.
Yeah, the README of the repo also will have a link over to how to run it on a CPU. So if you go check out the eShop support, you'll just see it, a link off to it there.
Perfect. And as I said, it works great. I was testing, I was using, and it works great. Yeah. And even here, right now, I'm using I have a GPU here, but I want to test it with CPU, and you've seen that it works there. So kind of nice. So end of the hour. I will probably go back to Danny. I don't know if you have a final slide to close. I have my final slide, which is thank you. But I don't know if you have one more here. Otherwise, I will say thanks to everyone. Thanks, Jordan, Pamela, Luis, Josh, Danny, and everyone online.
Yeah, don't forget to submit your project before the September 16th deadline that I think you had on the slide a moment ago, Bruno. So that'll be, go forth and hack, and looking forward to seeing what everybody comes up with. More great sessions to come. So maybe we'll see you in the comments on some of those. Thanks for joining us today. And thanks for the time, Bruno. Always nice to be on a call with you here and talk .NET and AI.
Yes, I love it. And this is a fun one. I really like to talk about this. I really like RAG, and I really like to see ideas. So I'm looking forward to see all of the ideas next week for everyone.
Excellent.
So, hey, goodbye, everyone.
Take care, all.
Hey, everyone. Hope you enjoyed today's session.
If you aren't registered yet for RagHack, you can register now at aka.ms/raghack/register, and you can introduce yourself on our forum. You can start hacking either by looking at one of our code samples or just starting from scratch. If you have any questions along the way, feel free to post them in our GitHub discussion forum, and you can also attend live office hours in our Discord. Once your project is ready, make sure to submit it before September 16th at 11:59 p.m. PT to be eligible for our cash prizes. And of course, make sure to join our upcoming live streams to learn more about RAG. Thanks for joining.